Latest updates on the same. NARC Kenya party leader Martha Karua appears to be slowly but surely getting more political leaders in Mount Kenya to their camp as they push for what they term as unity of purpose, an initiative they started together with Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria and former Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri. On Monday, a section of Kieleweke allied members of Parliament, notably Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega, attended a breakfast meeting in Nairobi as they planned a third meeting of the caucus for next week, but maintained they don't have a preferred presidential candidate yet.
Some of us had met earlier, but today the commitment is the unity of purpose of the people of Mount Kenya. We have also resolved that we are going to reach out to every elected member of parliament in Mount Kenya region for the next meeting, which we hope will be in the coming week at a date and venue to be announced. They'll all get invitation. We want our leaders to be present in the next meeting as we deliberate on the issues that are going to be our wish list to any candidate who is seeking the presidency of this country. So we are committed to unity of purpose. We are committed to multipartyism. Nobody is being told to leave their party, unless, of course, if they wish. We remain in our parties, but we have unity of purpose for Mount Kenya region.
All right, very interesting. For the first time, the leaders from Mount Kenya region are calling for unity of purpose, but they say they don't have a presidential candidate yet. Very interesting, yet this same region is a decider. They call it a swing vote. They call it that this is the reason why everyone is traveling to that region to seek for votes. So very interesting indeed, and yet they don't have a presidential candidate. Actually, Sophia, they say that this could be the first time that Central Kenya is naked. They don't have a clear leader, as opposed to the other elections from 2002. It was quite clear, 97 it was quite clear, and we have dissected the numbers and seen that Central Kenya has been voting for presidential candidates from that region. Very interesting, and who better to make to discuss this than Professor Peter Kagonja and Jeremiah Kioni. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in and for staying with us, Sophia. Let's begin this discussion with where Martha Karua left it. They want a unity of purpose, but they don't have a presidential candidate. Is this something that will play key and will play in the next election, in that Central Kenya is coming in, but without a clear purpose? Because we have seen Martha Karua increasingly bringing leaders together. Jeremiah.
No, I don't think it's a case of not having a clear purpose. We may not have a presidential candidate or a strong presidential candidate coming from our region. But in our minds, some of us, it's very clear as to what we are going to put on the table. It's a question of how do we get our colleagues, or how do we coalesce again around an issue or the issues that concern us. And in my opinion, it is one of the things that we must quickly agree, including with Martha and the rest, is that what was contained in the document that was thrown out by the court, or that was given a stop by the court, whichever way you want to look at it, or what was agreed between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga after the handshake, the gains that were contained in that document or any other document that had been written, referred to by some people as BBI, others don't want to hear it as BBI. But that whole arrangement contained some of the basic things that must be on the table before we get to any negotiation. So even as we sit together as leaders from Mount Kenya, we must first of all, and it's very important for us to agree that it was wrong for any of us to have opposed that document. It means that you may not quite have understood what we want as a community. What is it that we want on the table as a community? Yes.
It was on that document. Prof, what Mount Kenya is bringing on the table, that's what Kioni is talking about. He's not talking about a leader from Mount Kenya who will join the other leaders. So what will be brought on the table for this particular election. It's about what we are bringing to negotiate what we want, and not about this is our person.
Yeah, I think the politics in Mount Kenya region is beginning to become maturer and maturer. And a little bit, people are beginning to become assured of this democracy. Therefore, we are shifting our focus from individuals to interests. And that's a major shift. That it is possible to push for your interests rather than for individuals. Why? Because pushing for individuals in the past has led to the so-called anti-Kikuyu sentiments or anti-Mount Kenya sentiments. That's where statements like Mount Kenya Mafia were coming in. Now, nobody is talking about Mount Kenya Mafia. Everybody, whoever it is as a candidate, know what Mount Kenya want.
But Prof,
yes.
Haven't they been forced into that position in that there's no heir apparent?
No.
All of these other elections in the past, you had Kibaki, you had Matiba, you had Uhuru. Now, this is uncharted waters where it's becoming issue-oriented because it's negotiation time as there isn't one clear person still seeking the presidency.
Anuna, there has not been an earthquake that has wiped Kikuyus out. It is the decision that we are going to fully focus our attention on issues. But listen, if the issues are not met by any of the candidates, it is not impossible that a candidate will emerge. Don't rule that out. That by next year, if there is no clear, any individual who address the interests of the region, and the region is very clear about its interests, then you'll have to come with your own who champion those interests.
And this unity of purpose is not likely to split the vote.
Which vote are we splitting, and for who?
The Mount Kenya region, with all of these suitors, that at some point the different things will resonate with different quarters. Because you're not one, it's not one size fits all.
I have listened to Kuria, I've listened to Mother, I've listened to Kionjuri, I've listened to Muturi, Justin Muturi, I've listened to all of the Kiraito. We are all speaking one language, the interests of the mountain. That's what Mheshimiwa Kioni has spoken here about, and that is what I'm speaking about. That's what Mheshimiwa Kimunya spoke about. So let's not talk about split. We are united on one thing, in our interests, but also united on one thing, another thing, that any Kenyan can be a president. So everybody has equal opportunity to be a leader in this country, but every community and every group of people have their interests, and our interests are on the table.
Deliberately or otherwise. President Uhuru Kenyatta did not pay a lot of attention in mentoring anybody to come and take over from him. Perhaps something that has not been done, contrary to what others may have done in the past, including Mwai Kibaki. But in so doing, I think it is, again, deliberately to allow us as a community to look at the issues that have been with us for the longest time possible. But issues we have never been able to bring to the table for the reason that we have always been accused that, but you have the presidency, but you have the Minister of Finance, but you have the Governor of Central Bank, but you have this. But, and in that process, we've carried tags that are not useful to us as a community, and tags that I am keen on debunking. That's my main thing. I can tell you, since this is the best time in my political career. It is the best time in the sense that I think since my understanding of how Kenyans look at issues, when I'm able to say, yes, I'm also here. You've called me a marginalizer for the longest time possible. Let us now know whom have I marginalized and how have I marginalized that person. Or is it possible that I am actually the one who have been marginalized but has been given that tag? You have said that Mount Kenya region is the most developed of this country. Let's look at it. We are all now looking at it. Come to the Ragwa. Are we in need of development like any other parts of this country? We do. So we are able to now bring our issues on the table. We are talking about representation in parliament. And we are saying that for a constituency to exist, you have X number of people that needs to be in it. How many people are in Roiro? How can we allow this country to move on when you have a member of parliament representing 500,000 people, while you have another constituency with a senator representing maybe 30, 40,000 people. So these are the issues we are going to put on the table. And I want to tell you, any presidential candidate who does not address those issues, I'm saying ahead of time, don't bother with coming to our area. And I tell you, and even this unity you are seeing with all these teams, these are not the issues on the table, because I thought we started it on the wrong way, where people started running away, running around, wanted to become deputy president, running with. It means nothing to us.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense to have that position of the deputy president if the issues that are giving problems to our youth are not addressed. And they must be addressed as they would be addressed when they belong to other communities.
All right. Honorable Kioni, Prof. Kalgwanja will continue with this conversation. Akisa will be here with Ken as well. A lot to discuss in the next hour, but for now, Akisa is standing by. Still lots to cover as far as the top stories today. Akisa.
All right, thank you. And as Sophia says, that's a conversation that will be ongoing from about 10 p.m. So do stay with us for that and more. I want us to quickly take a short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.